Hello again from Big Fight Review. Now, the boxing world has been rocked recently by the loss of some great champions, none more so than the explosive thin man, Alexis Arguello. The Nicaraguan great compiled an astonishing record, 65 knockouts in 82 victories. He was a three-weight world champion. He never lost his world titles, choosing instead to move up a weight each time. He was widely seen as one of the greatest punchers of all time and a master ring tactician. In November 1982, he took on possibly his toughest challenge, moving up to light welterweight to face the future Hall of Famer Aaron Pryor in an attempt to become the first man to win world titles at 4 different weights. The Battle of Champions turned out to be one of boxing's epic brawls. We're going to join them. Stunning fight, a rare defeat for the late Alexis Arguello, and I guess, John, being remembered for a rare defeat, that's something that he's carried to his grave.
Yeah, well, what a fighter he was. He was a stunning fighter. You know, you think back to some of the people he beat, Bobby Chacon, our own Jim Watts, Ray Mancini. You know, the list is a huge one. He bestrode 3 divisions, and in that fight against Pryor, at that time, he was trying to do what no man had done before and become a world champion at 4 weights. The Pryor fight, it just turned out to be a step too far for him. Controversial as well.
Going to say, years down the line, the stink lingers after that fight.
It certainly does. There was all sorts of accusations being made. Was there something in Pryor's milkshake that he had down the sides of the ring?
Give me that ball. The one I mixed. Yeah.
But he, for me, Alexis Arguello, represented everything that a boxer should be, both inside and outside of the ring. You know, they called him the gentleman. He was consummate in his approach to what he was doing. He was diligent in his training. And, you know, I learned so much growing up watching him as a professional and learned a lot from him. As John's already said, just a fantastic athlete.
Jim Watts said that it was completely disarming just how charming he was.
Yeah.
He came along to the pre-fight press conference and he held out his hand and he said, "Nice to meet you, how's your wife and family?" You know, and they're about to step into the ring and Jim just said, "What do you say to a man like that?"
It was Jim Watts' last fight, and I think I'm right. He left him with a permanent reminder because he left him with a little bit of a ringing in his ear that I think he's still got to this day. But I think what he found, Duke, and like many fighters found, he found it so hard to replace the actuality of the boxing game. When the lights dim, he found it hard to live the rest of his life.
Yeah, coming back down to reality is a very difficult thing when you're a sportsman and you reach that kind of a level. When you reach the world championship status, you get plenty of pats on the back, you're going here, there and everywhere. The adulation is sometimes overwhelming. Then when you've got to come back to reality, mixed with everyday normal people, that in itself can be very, very hard. You know, it's a very, very difficult transition to make. Was
it tough for you?
It was tough for me for a while, but I think I've finally found my vocation in this world of boxing, away from the sport. You know, I'm involved with several different organisations and life's very, very good.
You must mention Arturo Gatti, another boxing legend as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definition, isn't it, of what an impact he's had on the boxing world. That if you see somebody really go toe to toe and have a war with somebody, people say, "Oh, that was a Gatti-esque performance." That tells you really the sort of fighter he was. But the trilogy of fights against Mickey Ward, going back to the fights against people like Manfredo, Ruelas. You know, he was a terrific crowd-pleasing fighter. Lou Duva said he was the most fan-friendly fighter he'd ever had. And Ricky Hatton would agree with that. Ricky always said, if there's one fight I would love to have had, it was against Arturo Gatti.
Duke, you're talking about how you've filled in the rest of your life. We've been down to your Duke Box gym in Croydon. We did this show from there, didn't we? And I think you've had an award. You've had a bit of recognition for your work there.
Well, Jim, this award was actually presented to Mind in Croydon. It is the Health and Social Care Award for mental health and well-being within the boxing world. You know, I run a boxing project. I run a 10-week project at my gym for people with mental health problems. This is a national award. We won the regional awards, the London awards, went through to the national awards, and we won from 4,000 applicants. We came out on top, and this is probably one of the most proudest things that we've received. I mean, it's like becoming a British champion all over again. It really is.
Just tell us a bit more about the actual work that you do.
Well, I work with Mind in Croydon. They work with people with mental health problems. I get a group of 10 people that have had mental health problems come down to my gym on a Friday. They work for 2 hours. We do a sequence of boxing training. It's purely non-contact, and it helps them to refocus, reintegrate. You know, these people are all service users. They come down to the gym, and like I say, I work them out, and it's probably the most rewarding job I've done in my life.
Listen, many congratulations on that, Duke. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
You do, John. Thanks a lot.